Hey guys, so we are Bob Alvarez here. We just joining our team not too long ago, and today is Veterans Day. So I'm gonna do something very special in honor of our clients who serve who serve for our country, active or former military, as well as first responders. This morning we did a very special 10% off if you are thinking of selling their home. But today I want to talk a little bit deeper. Bob, you serve. I'm looking at your. What do you call this? Like your resume here. So you served in Vietnam War, 2 tours.
Correct.
In Vietnam Wars, 1968, 1970, right. 1968 and 1970 Correct. Twice. And you are between 1964 and 1965, you served at the 6th U.S. Army Non-Commissioned Officers Academy.
That's correct.
And then you also as the senior drill instructor 1966, 1967 at the 158th Infantry Battalion, and you also as the drill sergeant school, the 6th U.S. Army Drill Sergeant School 1970.
In Fort Worth, California.
In Fort Worth, California. Right. Wow. I should have. Do you realize here in our team, every 6 months we go to Las Vegas for our own private range gun training, which have nothing to do.
Right.
I should go with you next time. I need your training.
Okay.
Yeah, we just go around. But today is a very special day, Veterans Day. So I want to hear from your perspective, right? Because you did so from your perspective and what we do here in our team for our clients as well as for the people. We want to empower the veterans, to be a productive member of the society, how to bring them back, as well as for the clients. Well, we serve almost 30% of our clients actually a VA loan, qualify for VA loans and stuff. We never talk about it, but I think today is a good time to really reflect on that. Absolutely. But I want to hear from you. Yeah. Share your experience.
Well, experience is something that you can either be positive or negative. I've always looked at it as a very positive thing because I was a young man when I went to Vietnam. And returning back, I'm glad that I had that experience because not only did it changed my life for the better, it also, I got to meet a lot of young people that I served with. Some came back and some didn't. And it taught me a great lesson about how precious life is and how well we're supposed to take care of it. So when I came back, I wasn't as foolish as I was before I went to Vietnam. I started paying attention to life.
How old were you on your
first? 22 when I went over.
22. Mm-hmm. And describe how was.
Well, I had one thing I did want to do. I was in the National Guard for 6 years prior to being activated to go into Vietnam. But I had one of those job descriptions where I could be used because I was an instructor and I also was fully trained in airborne and also was in Ranger School and things like that. So immediately the regular Army said, we'd like to have you come on the regular Army. So they activated me. And they gave me a chance to come into the active Army instead of just being in the National Guard.
While you were 22 years old?
I was 22 years old.
You went to the Ranger School when you were 22?
No, I was in Ranger School when I was 20.
Wow.
20, yeah. And then I went through Airborne and came out of there. And then, so I felt that you have to be really well trained if you're going to be anywhere. Just like in this business, you have to really know what you're doing if you're going to do well. So I figured if I'm going to go to Vietnam, I'm going to make sure I'm well trained so I can survive what it is that I'm going to go through.
Wow.
And so that was the big reason for the training. I tried to get as much training as I could in everything so that I would have that ability to be able to overcome any circumstances
that might be. It is a life and death situation.
Oh, but yeah, well, a lot of it was and a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it, we actually had an opportunity to serve the people of Vietnam, people that were going through they're the ones that really were suffering, the ones that were out there in the jungle and the different fire bases and stuff. So not only were we there to take care of ourselves, but we were there to help some of the kids out. There was a lot of kids, so I fell in love with the kids over there.
What do you do exactly? What do you mean? Because I didn't, from my perspective, we didn't.
Yeah, I was a what they call a team leader. Okay, and a team leader is about 8 people on a team, and then we go out for 15 or 16 days at a time into the bush. And we stay out there for 15 or 16 days and do whatever it is that we're asked to do. And then once we get that done, then we're extracted back to the rear for about 3 or 4 days to shower, get clean uniforms and eat and do the things that normal people do. And then they get us ready and then they send us back out again for another 15 or 16 days.
So a lot of
spend a lot of time in transition. We never had an opportunity to, in that 15 or 16 days, or even sometimes longer, to shower or do anything. So you had to stay in the field, in the actual bush.
So how did you get back and just be in the society? When you come back and
my transition
live a normal life.
It wasn't normal at all. The transition, because at that time, when I came back from Vietnam, I was 26, and people weren't, really as positive as they are today about our military and our people that are serving overseas and things, which I think is fantastic. I love the saying that when you see guys come back from Iraq and things like that, thank you for your service. We never got that when we got back from Vietnam. So unfortunately, but it was something that I knew that I had to transition out of. And so I made up my mind that I wasn't going to be part of the problem. I was going to correct myself and get back on.
So that's what we want to do today, right? Since we talk about this, we want to make sure that when the people who serve in the military, when they come back, then we want to help them. So from your perspective, from you, because you know how we do here as far as the training, we actually provide 24 hours a day, 7 days a week training, so they can access anytime developing leadership,
that's what I've been doing.
sales, personal development. Right. So as you know how important training is, now the young people, they don't know because they think, it's just a training, but you explain from your perspective, that's important.
That's a very important part. If you're not trained, there's not so much of an impact that you can make on your life unless you're well trained. And so that's one of the things that I learned about Vietnam, to keep yourself alive. Even though I got wounded in Vietnam, my second tour there, it's something that you can't help. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't care how well trained you are. There's a possibility of you getting wounded.
And what else, as far as your experience in that, now you're leading a normal life?
I don't know how normal it could be with two little girls, 3 and 2 years old, but it's.
So describe your experience before and now. How did we even met and stuff like that, right? And how's your experience with the team?
Oh, it's like I said, we met almost a year ago.
A year ago, yeah.
And unfortunately, we never got together because I was busy trying to continue where I was at. And then little by little, I finally decided to make contact with you, and then we talked for a few minutes, and then we were separated again. But then I finally decided, I need to make this decision because I want to be the best trained person I can be, because without being properly trained, there's no way that I can be able to hit my goals and objectives.
And we never really talk a lot about training. I guess now it's the first time we talk about it. So you know this here in our team, we really focus on the training.
There's no doubt about it.
Not only the online every day, 7 days a week, once a week, live in person every
I've never had this kind of training before. This is incredible. The impact on the training is very, very strong.
So what's the biggest challenge for the people, for the vets who serve in our military when they come back to the family?
Let them know that there's people like you and there's companies like your company that are open to the idea of having them come and be a part of the program here, or they need to have their VA loans and things of that nature. That's got to be an expressed understanding and attitude that's out there in the community to veterans, because a lot of veterans don't have that information. They go through the VA center thinking that the VA center is going to provide them with all that, and they're limited with what they can do. So this is really important, the way you go out and you actually get out in the community and let the community know what you're doing, and that's the key to the whole thing.
And train that, yes.
And then bring them in and let them see firsthand what it is that we're trying to do for them, and then that's when they take advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna resign from training the VA. You can take over the department, right? You can take over the department every month. We actually have VA seminars.
Oh, good.
The clients come in. Then basically all we've been doing for the past 10 years, we're just sharing the VA benefits. Like you said, most of this they don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised they don't know. You guys don't talk about it.
Because they're not educated on it. Because a lot of the guys, when they get back, or the gals that come back, they have medical issues and things like that. So they're really dealing with the priorities of their physical issues, and not necessarily their financial and stabilities and stuff like that. So this is really important that people like you, like what you're doing, is you're actually exposing yourself to that community, and that's what's going to help.
That's one for the consumers, but at the same time, they are having difficult time getting jobs. Can you describe that? Like, what's the challenges as far as they're trying to assimilate to the society?
Well, a lot of the times they come back, depending on what their job description was in the military. Like mine was in the bush as an infantryman, as a part of a fire team. And so there was a lot of combat. And so when you come back with different things that cause mental scenarios like PTSD and things of that nature. And basically all that is just an anger that's built up inside of you that you don't know how to express. And sometimes when you come back, they get very easily out of disorder, because they don't understand what they're going through, because they can't make things happen for themselves. And so this is why that PTSD issue is one that's been used a lot in the VA hospitals, trying to help the guys transition so that they can be able to control some of their attitudes and their anger and their things, their fears of being in combat. Because if you've never been in combat, you don't understand what the problem is with PTSD.
So here in our team, in our company, we want to be able to provide resource for the vets who come back and trying to get a job. So the way we're doing it, we're going to empower you with obviously the training. We create an environment so people can grow.
But I think the biggest thing, though, too, Rudy, is what you're mentioning right now. You have to have somebody who's actually walked in that scenario, so that so they can understand that you understand what they've gone through and what they're going through.
Yeah, because you understand where they're coming from.
Right, exactly.
Right?
And I think that's what's going to be cool about this, is that we know what their transition is like, and so we understand some of the places they've walked in, and so we kind of help them out that way. So that's going to be helpful.
It's one thing to give a man out a fish. It's a whole different ballgame to teach men on how to fish, right?
Correct.
So what we are doing here with our training, it's not just training for the sake of training. It's you are teaching people on how to make money. Well, of course, money is not everything. But however, they have family to support.
That's right.
Right. So with the money is it's just a foundation. We are talking about our business is designed to serve others. Our business is to serve others. We are not here, we are not here just to we are here to serve others. Our business is here to serve others. So this is just one of the elements we are focused.
I think one of the things that really interested me in your program is that I was at a meeting one time with a pastor, and he was telling me, tithing is really important. He says for anybody that's going to be in the church. He says, but what's more important is when you become a channel. And that's what you are. You're a channel. You provide funds so that they can be channeled out, like to the children's hospital, places like that. That's a channel, and that's the key to this.
That's a good point. When we talk about channel, it reminds me of I went to Israel last year.
I heard about
There's a difference between the Dead I noticed if you look at the map, the Dead Sea and the Galilee River actually came from the same source of water.
That's right.
But how can it be on Galilee River? There's a lot of commerce. It's very prosperous. There's a lot of fish. It's very, it's just very rich, very active.
Right.
And then you keep on going. It goes to Dead Sea.
That's right.
The reason they call it Dead Sea, obviously, it's just
life.
Yeah, there is nothing there. The water was so salty. The water is so buoyant that there's no life there.
That's right.
And if you look at the map, the Dead Sea is because it's a dead end. It's not a channel.
That's right. And that's what we have to be saying. Whether you're in your business or in my business or in my family or in my structure or my background, you have to be a channel. You have to be a source that being able to provide.
So how can we provide? How can we help the either farmers, veterans who serve, or we're gonna extend it to first responders, military, police, and fire, coast guards, right? So we want to be able to help.
What you're doing is one of my expectations to go to the VA now that I represent you, and be able to do something like that, so we can develop programs at the VA to bring the guys in and sit down at the VA and show them what it's all about, to be able to provide for their families through a VA loan. And then some of those people are going to come and say, well, what about me getting into the real estate business? And that would be a two-spur purpose.
Right. The VA loan is basically for the clients who's thinking of buying a home, then somebody who's looking to
enhance themselves, to better themselves.
Yes.
Correct.
We need to empower. We need to teach people on how to fish to make money, because then that's how they can be a blessing to their family, right? You cannot say, "I'm going to help you." How are you going to help you?
If you're not helping yourself,
right? We're going to help you by empowering you, educating you. So that's why we invest so much in our team on education, because that's how we want to help if we truly want to help people, if we truly want to elevate people's life, the best way to elevate people's life is through education.
That's right.
You came back from, we did our 2-day conference,
Yes.
3-day conference last month, coming up next week. Actually, our 2-day outside sales agent training. Those are all teaching people, because once they know on how to serve people, once they know how to make money,
That's it.
no one can take it away from them. It's in you. Once it's in you,
you can make it happen.
just like your muscle memory, right?
Right.
It's once it's built in, then it's built in. So if you wanna truly help these heroes, right? The people that serve our country, I think this is one of
You have to empower them.
You have to empower them.
That's
yes.
right. That's
Everybody do their own part. I'm not a medical doctor. I cannot do anything with your.
But what you do have, see, we all have something,
Yes.
and the part that we serve in that is the part that some people need, and that's how we all bring them all together. That's how we become a channel for everybody.
Correct. So if you used to serve, if you're a vet, if you serve in our country, former active first responders, we're gonna expedite your application. As you know, how long you remember when we applied in our team?
Oh, yeah.
How many interview process was that?
A lot, about 7.
Yeah, seven interview process to join our team. We are very selective. We need to be careful. We are, as you know, the reason why. Just this is side note, is because there's so many people. When they look at our team, they remember all real estate agents think. They think, oh, we are just giving out leads, right? So they think they're just. A lot of younger people, they think they're just a shortcut, right? But it's not about the list. It's not about the clients. If you don't know how to,
that's right.
Right? It's just like you saying just now. The reason you went to the Ranger School
is to stay alive.
You want to go to best of the best of the best, not because it's not the shooting. It's not the gun, right?
That's right.
It's what to do with the training.
That's right.
So that's why we have so many restrictive when we onboard people in our team. We don't, because a lot of real estate agents, we have at least 10 people applying to join our team every single week. If we just let the door open, then we just have people who have a different core values, and they completely misunderstand.
Yeah.
The motives are different.
Right.
We are an education company.
Right.
We are here to elevate people's life.
There you go.
But
That's
then
what
most
I've
people
learned
think
the short time that I've been here
Yeah.
is education that I've never had before in the real estate business, and it's just given me a plus ever since I've only been here not more than a couple of weeks now, and it's already impressed me because the amount of knowledge that I learned that I didn't know before.
And you are not even at this conference yet,
Not yet
right? Because the conference, we do our two-day workshop coming up next week. The 3-day conference. The 3-day conference is every 4 months. But so for the veterans who's applying this, we're gonna expedite that. We're gonna have you, Bob, be one of those measurements. So that way, instead of going through the 7 interview process, maybe we're gonna shorten it to 3, so we can make a decision in a much quicker way. So that way we can quickly help them
get into a place.
Get into our program here, to empower their family and stuff.
That's right.
Right. And then for our clients, people who's thinking of buying a home, then obviously the VA loans will be the best. Let's just touch a little bit about that.
Yeah, with the VA loans, I just went on a couple interviews this afternoon, for some people. One of them was a veteran, and he was renting. He wanted us to rent, and I said, well, the rent that you're going to be paid for this particular rent is around $3,000. He said, you lend any thought to purchasing your own property? Oh, he says, I'm sure I can't qualify. I'm sure I can't do this. I said, why don't you give me an opportunity to show you what you can do for sure, and let me empower you so you can be able to do that. And he said, well, okay, we'll talk about it. But he's under the understanding that the VA is only giving them so much information. Yeah. And he says that you can only buy up to this amount, and everything else is too expensive. As you can buy a great house.
They disqualify themselves.
Exactly. And so they give up very quickly because there's nobody there to empower them. And see, that's what we need to do. We need to help them get through that. Kind of connect the dots for them where they disconnect.
Okay, you'll be running that VA seminar. We just closed escrow on a VA loan about 3 weeks ago on a house, 800,000 home. Alex was the one who's helping them. 800,000 home. You know how much out of pocket the clients, the buyers, out of pocket on an 800,000 home? $500. That's it. $100. They moved
That was
into next to
amazing.
Linda's, you know, Linda,
Right.
next to Linda's home in Woodland Hills.
That's beautiful.
But now that's where the fire is. But anyway, that's a off topic.
Different story.
That's a different
Everything's
story.
very tough.
But the point is, this fee alone is extremely powerful program.
right. It's
Right?
very good.
Who else can buy an $800,000 home with $500 out of pocket? Like who does that?
That's right.
It's
That's
very
right.
rare. It's a gift from our country, right?
It is.
From our
And-
government.
and they deserve it. And they deserve it. They just need to be educated on the fact that it's possible, that they have the ability to do it. They have to be empowered to have information on it. And that's what we have to do. Instead of a lot of people going out there just trying to make the buck, we can empower them.
We get a little bit tangent here with the real estate, which is good. But let's go back to you. I'm looking at here back in 1964, 1965. You are 22 years old. Like, what's going on in your mind? Like, how do you feel and stuff like that?
Well,
your story.
Yeah, well, it's just, I was a young man. I was raised in a military home. My dad was a first sergeant in the Army. And so we were very regimented all the way through our lives. My dad raised us, to make our beds every morning, and then we didn't stand for inspection every morning, but make sure that our beds were made and that we brushed our teeth and shined our shoes. That's the other thing. If our shoes were never shined, we had trouble with him. Okay, so he was very regimented, but at the same time, he was very educational because he used to take us out. Because he was a first sergeant, as little as we were, we used to see him leading troops and lining all these hundreds of men in front of him, and so he could be in charge and command them to do certain things. So we started having a lot of respect for leadership and people in the position of leadership and respecting them. So it helped a lot of our core values as we grew up. And then my oldest brother, became an officer. Actually went through the academy, officers academy, and became a lieutenant at 21 years of age. I mean, just a young guy. And I never went through officer training course because, like I said, I was in the military as a drill sergeant and here in Fort Ord, so I never really wanted to be an officer. I just wanted to be with the troops because that's what I enjoyed. And so it was a lot of fun. And then when I knew that I was going to be getting orders for Vietnam, I said, well, before I get my orders, and I know they're coming, I might as well get all my paperwork in to do all these other schools so I can get educated. So I went to jump school, and I went to ranger school, and I went to Pathfinder school in the Philippines and things like that, so I could get ready. And sure enough, I was ready. And when I went over, I felt very confident that I could survive whatever it is that I
But what
needed.
made you that? So you chose to go to? Nobody asked you to.
No, I didn't have a choice. Once I got activated, then my orders came to go.
What about all the tasks, all the schools, the training? You chose to go to.
I chose those.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have gone to Vietnam without any of that training. And so what I said, I told my company commander, I says, I got activated from the National Guard here because I have a critical MOS. And he said, yeah. He says, and the chances of you going to Vietnam are pretty good. And I said, well, before that happens, I says, I like to put in for as many schools as I can that will help me, prepare myself for that. He said, okay, fine. So we got everything together. Sure enough, one after the other. And then as soon as I got done with the Pathfinder school, I went right from the Philippines directly to Vietnam.
What is, for normal people like me who's uneducated, what is a Pathfinder school?
Well, Pathfinder School is a course that you go on where you actually are in the bush. You're actually in the Philippines, which is very similar to the terrain of Vietnam. And in the Pathfinders, you have to live off the land. So you will go days of what we call the Christian life. We call fasting. Well, over there, it's not a Christian life. You fast.
Oh, because you're in the jungle.
You don't eat.
It's because you're in the jungle.
Right, because that's part of your training.
Right.
You won't eat for 3 days at a time. So while you're going and training there, every fourth day you eat. They give you something to eat, but for 3 days you don't eat. So you get used to it. So when you're in the bush, you don't have that craving, that physical craving of having, I got to sit down and have a meal or whatever it might be.
So you train for that.
Yeah, you train for it, and so you adjust for it. And then so when you're part of a team, ranger team, I was the 75th Rangers with the 1st Air Cab Division. And we used to go out, like I said, 15 to 16 days at a time. And everything that we ate and carried was in our pack, and that's all we had. And if you ran out, well, you ran out. So you got to learn how to live in that manner. Very disciplined. It taught you how to take your pace of how much water you would drink and how much food you would eat and stuff like that. And then when you would walk in, and then you knew how much you could carry on your back for a certain period of time.
So how would you a lot of those experience? How would you apply? How would it help you now?
No question about it. My time control, when I came here, I told you I'm a minister. I minister twice a week outside of. I travel 3 hours over and 3 hours back for a 2-hour class with some children out on the up by Fresno and Hanford area, and so I do that. And I've been doing that for the last 12 years now. And so at the same time, then I've got ministry here in Los Angeles that I've been involved with the Green Center and also out here in the Monrovia area. So I am very active. Plus, I've got 2 little girls and a beautiful wife that I've got to continue. So it's taught me to be real time control oriented, very time control oriented, and goal oriented. You have to have goals. You know you can accomplish them, but you got to go after it.
Yeah.
And so at my age now, I've done it for so many years. It's become I've become a creature of habit with it. It's become part of my habit. Yeah. But I can remember when I wasn't a creature of habit, where I had no discipline. Yeah. And that was prior to going into the military. And the military helped me a tremendous amount. Yeah.
That's powerful. A lot of good lessons there for everybody. So today, once again, in honor of Veterans Day, hope you enjoyed this conversation with Bob. If you want to meet Bob in person, all you need to do, call 626-789-0159. Stop by in the office, and then Bob's going to do a backstage tour of our team here so you can see how the real estate sales system actually works. That's right, Bob? Exactly. Especially today, many people in real estate, they claim about a real estate team, but it's completely, it's just independent people get together. Those are not a team. Like 3, 4, 5 people gets together.
This is a new
a crowd
concept. Yeah, this team concept is so very much workable. It's very workable. It's working very well. I see it now. Where before I figured, how could this work? And it does. It works very well.
And I want Bob to be in charge of running that department, helping our VA, not only clients, but as well as our veteran, former first responders. When they're getting a job, they want to join our team. We have a lot of people who wants to join our team. We have the infrastructure, we have the system. You have the experience working with them. You can look at from their perspective. Exactly. And I think if you marry the two, it's going to be very powerful. You can actually help more people.
Be my pleasure.
Yes,
be an honor to serve them again because they deserve it. They deserve it.
Yeah, that's the only way I know of on how to, give back and basically empower them. So. Because I got my citizenship about 2 years ago, and I think America really is it's like the best country on planet Earth.
Right? That's right. There's a lot of sacrifice.
It's not just heaven.
No, it's not happenstance. You actually paid the price for it.
Yeah, somebody before me long ago, people like you who actually made this thing happen, and the least I can do is just what we are doing here. That's right. Actually it's nothing compared to, I go to the range once in a while, but then I cannot imagine a bullet actually flying back at you, because usually we are flying at the target, on a paper target, right?
You never see a bullet coming back at you, but you do hear them cracking your ear.
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't be able to see it.
No, you hear them go by, they crack in your ear. So that's a blessing in itself. Because when you hear them crack, you say, wow.
Because you know it's
that's not mine. It's not my turn to go yet.
Because you know it's that.
That's what it is, exactly. That's where it creates a lot of PTSD issues, a lot of fear.
Oh, that's what it's in, because everybody was just, a lot of anxiety because you just heard that. And over and over again
that's
like
just
that.
one part. That's just one part. There's a lot.
Tell me more stories. Since today we talk about this.
Well, you go back a long time ago. It's just
my experience about this. All I know, we go to the range, and all I know there's a paper target that we shoot, and it never shoot back.
That's the beauty of it.
And we all stand in one line here, so nobody cross the line. So I understand when the bullets.
But that team concept that you have here is the same thing that's in the military, especially in a fire team unit like a ranger team. They're all working together, and they know their objective, and everybody looks out for each other. Nobody's left behind. So you're always being protected by the guy next to you, and you're protecting him. So it's a real important part, because it's a family. It's a family. You get to sleep with these guys and eat with these guys and cry with these guys and bleed with these guys, and before you know it, you are these guys. These guys are part of your life.
You brought up a good point. On the team system that we set up here is that each individual person has a specific role in that transaction. Most real estate agents, when they get together, there are 5 real estate agents, and they say, I'm a team.
Well, that's where I came from.
You are not a team. You are an independent people.
I had to do everything myself. So.
In fact, technically you are in competition, because imagine if the clients call in, it's like you are not in a team.
That's right. But here, the beauty of it is there hasn't been one person here that I haven't met yet that hasn't gone out of the way to let me know that I'm part of the family. It's fantastic. It's great. It's great.
It's good to know because we never the core values is not on the wall.
Yeah, but
how do we know the core value actually works?
Yeah,
when you share, when you
That's
told
right.
me this, I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. It really is. People, they're not. You can see that they're not working for themselves. They're working to assist you and help you. I had 3 or 4 people already say to me, "Hey, if you need help, you let me know. I'm here to help you." So, and I don't know these people from Adam. So, here we are. We're part of the family. So it's good. That's good.
All right, guys. So, in honor of Veterans Day, once again, if you're thinking of buying a home or selling a home for the entire month of November, 10% off. All you need to do, just bring your identification. You don't have to be in the military. If you're part of the first responders, police, fire, coast guard, all you need to do, bring proof, 10% off if you're thinking of buying or selling a home. And if you're looking for a profession, if you're thinking of building up, setting up your own business, there is no beauty, I think, than I think we are blessed in this real estate business.
No question.
I think you saw the interview I did yesterday.
Yes,
we have 20 years old, 22 years old, we have 50 years old. Right, so it doesn't matter how age, as long as the people are coachable.
That's right.
You've seen people in your short time here. You met young people or people with different career before in their life. They actually completely elevate their family lives, completely change their life.
Incredible what I see.
But it gotta be coachable, right? How do you? One last question before we cut this thing. How do you in military? How do you do it? All these 20 years old teenagers, a bunch of teenagers, how do you get all the teenagers to be, to be disciplined? How do you do that?
You teach them, first of all, that you're an example of, that you're a survivor. You see, first of all, you survive something, so they start paying attention because the fear is so much there. They don't know what they're going to be up against. So you teach them, this is how you stay alive. And since you have that background, you have that history, and you even if you're wounded, they see a Purple Heart on you or something, they say, wow, this guy knows what it's all about, maybe I should listen to him. And I think that's where it comes to. It becomes a discipline then. You start teaching people the truth of what is really out there and the motives behind the truth, and then before you know it, they'll follow you. That's what a leader is. A leader is someone that's already walked through your walk, is going to teach you how to do it. And that's a key thing. You're going to protect them at the same time. And that's a cool thing here. You're always, like the other day when I was in that class and you were teaching, it was fantastic. You said, I'm not here to tell you what I think. I'm here to teach you what the law says, and you got to protect yourself based on the law. And that's important. We need to know that. Need to know that stuff. It's really important.
That's good. Good sharing. Good sharing today. Hopefully that inspires you. So tomorrow Veterans Day. So I hope it gives you a different perspective, understanding. Any last words about to inspire either other veterans, other people? Imagine, what if I can transform this video to yourself back when you were 23, when you first came back.
There you go.
What would you?
It would have been totally different life.
What would you advise yourself?
I would have probably said this is a great opportunity, because there was nobody there doing this. There was nobody there. Every time you got a job, if you did get a job, the first thing they'd ask you is your history. And your history, I spent 2 years in the Army in Vietnam, and a lot of people wouldn't hire you because of that during that time, because they knew you had problems already and you came back with problems. And so a lot of the people didn't want to touch that. So, and now the guys that are coming back, the gals that are coming back from Iraq and stuff, the most beautiful thing we say to them is thank you for your service. And that's what I'm going to say, is thank you for your service, because that's not easy to do. It's not easy to do what they do. And this is a volunteer military right now. It's not a draft. These guys are actually making a decision to do it because they want to. They want to go out there and serve. When I was coming through, it was not a question of I wanted to. You were drafted.
So
you're going. You're going.
All right, Bob. So thank you for your service.
Thank you for yours.
Thank
your
you.
Own way.
Let's make it. Let's help more people as we launch into 2019 here. Let's help more people. And I think what they say. I think somebody told me before. You are just one person. How can you make a big? How can you change the world? Well, it's from that one small act. I think we change through one life at a time.
That's correct.
Here in our team, we focus. Our mission is to elevate people's life.
That's right.
So our mission here is to elevate people's life. We believe that with no vision, the people perish. But then
That's right.
who are the people? There are 4 group of people that we focus on. Now the first one is the clients. The second one is basically our team members, each other. The third one is our business partners, the vendors that we do business with. Mm-hmm. And the fourth one is the community, mm-hmm. right? So I think together we can make this,
Excellent.
a place. Excellent. But we got to work together. And the VA department, I think that's your, you have experience on it, right? So
I really appreciate what they're going through.
You leverage our resources that we have here, and you run that department, right? You run that with everything we got here. I think it really, truly will be able to help.
Be a blessing to a lot of people.
We'll be able to help a lot of this.
A lot of people are searching right now for what you're talking about, and they're going to hear this, and then they're going to come.
Because usually people, when they come back from either Iraq or something, they talk about, well, my experience, right? They don't have experience. Their resume is basically, like, we don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Don't bring your resume, because everything we do is coachable. As long as you are coachable.
That's right.
As long as you are coachable, your past doesn't define you, right? We start fresh here, but if you are not coachable, I cannot help you. That's right. As long as you are coachable, you're willing to follow a proven system, then we want to work with you. I want you to call us now, 626-789-0159. And then that's enjoy tomorrow, Veterans Day, with you and your family. We are here to serve you. Our office open always. But then anything else? Last minute?
No, I just want the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your team, and I hope that we can help a lot of people during this process.
Let's do it. Thank you. All right. Thank you.